I'm Jack Shue, I'm 18 years old, and I'm Gloucestershire's youngest drag queen. I've performed in drag quite a few times. I think my debut was when I was in Drag Wars, which was the competition that I entered, and that was my first time in drag, and that's what kind of started my drag career. As I auditioned for that, it was an online contest, and I think I came third in voting, which was I didn't understand. It's my first time in drag, and I was quite scared at first. I didn't understand what I was going to do because I kind of just got pushed into it by everyone supporting me, which was amazing. But then it came to it, and I didn't realise I'd actually get through. It was crazy when I first stepped on stage because that was my first moment as Ophelia. Like, I was Jack basically in a dress and a wig before I went on stage, and as soon as I stepped out I turned into this whole new woman, and that's when it all really started. I knew I loved it. Like, hearing my supporters and my friends in the crowd cheering me on just gave me that extra push to like give a great performance, and I think that's what got me through to the final. My drag name is Ophelia Cox, and it was quite a journey coming up with that name. It took me quite a while because I got the help from my family because they're very supportive of what I do, and my mum was really excited for the whole drag persona I was creating. And I think at first they suggested Ophelia Crotch because we liked the name Ophelia. It's a really pretty name. I think I got it from Hamlet from years ago. I don't know why, and I just thought it was a pretty name. It kind of stuck with me. And crotch was like it was a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour. Like it sounds like a play on words, Ophelia of your crotch. But it sounded a bit old maiden for me. It wasn't really my persona. It didn't really feel like it was my personality. So we gave it some thought, and we just like, why not Cox? It was C-O-X. Because it's quite a typical drag name. It has that sexy vibe to it as well. But also it still has the play on words that a lot of British drag has. And I wanted to keep that in my name because I think it's quite important to keep drag tradition in the names you pick. Because that's what drag is really. It's all about the humour. And I just wanted that in my name as well. But I also think it's a really pretty name that suits my look. Ophelia is definitely very different to who Jack is. I think she's a lot more sassy and confident and honest than Jack. Because when I'm in full drag and as Ophelia, I feel like I have that like shield of protection. So like I don't think I can be harmed for anything, and I think I can get away with anything I say. Which isn't true, but it's how I feel when I'm her. And she's definitely louder and more fun-loving, but then she's also a lot more sexy and sultry at the same time. Altogether, it takes me about 3 hours to get ready into Ophelia, because that's mostly just the makeup, because there's a long process of I need to restructure my whole face to make it more feminine and paint all the colours I need on my face with the eyeshadow. It does take a long time, and I have to be committed and give myself a long time that I know I can do, because I can never rush it. I'm hoping that in the future, because I'm only just starting now really, I'm hoping in the future I can quickly do it if I have a show on I have to rush. But right now I take my time and it's like an experience for me, so I take it slow and steady. I think a drag queen does a lot of things. When you're a drag queen, you hold a lot of responsibility, because all in all, what a drag queen is representing the LBGTQ community. It's like they're figureheads for them, I think. And when it comes to things like Pride, I feel like they're the main event. Because what a drag queen represents is a community that has gone through a lot to get where they are and deserve the rights that they finally have. And drag queens have always been like the front runners of things like that. Like, they fought through a lot of things, and they always were the ones that were criticised the most because people looked at them as freaks and monsters. And I think we've come a long way now, and people see them as like artists and creative people, which they are, and performers as well. So I think what drag queens do is basically that they fight for what the LGBTQ community deserve, and we are where we are today because of drag queens. And I think that's their main role, to keep the community together and represent us for the fun-loving, creative people that we are. I'd say that I'm quite lucky because I haven't experienced as much stigma and homophobia being a drag queen and just as a gay man as a lot of other people that I know have. And I have obviously experienced it, and there have been people that have treated me differently because I'm gay or a drag queen. I've been catcalled as a drag queen, which I don't take as a compliment because I know people are creepy and they're trying to get onto me in a weird way. But as just a gay man in my everyday life, people obviously look at me differently and give me dirty looks or maybe make a little side comment. It definitely happened when I was younger, not as much anymore. And I've never really taken it personally or cared about it because I don't really get offended. I'm quite a hard friend, I just brush it off, I don't really care. And I hear horror stories of like how there's been attacks on people for being in drag or just because they're gay or any LGBTQ really. And that makes me angry and that needs to change. I don't really think that Gloucestershire as a county is that great for drag really, or even LGBTQ people, because it's the only county in the whole of the UK that doesn't actually have a gay venue or a gay club, and I think that definitely needs to change because that's where drag queens perform. We're lucky enough to have places that are really open-minded and accepting of what we do, and they know how big the crowds that come in, because it is really popular here. There's a lot of people at the Frog and Fiddle where competitions and drag events are held. There's a lot of supporters and a lot of people show up in hundreds buying tickets. They sell out every time, and we know there's a big support for it here. And I think opening a gay venue or gay club will be really good for the local drag queens like me here, because we have to kind of move out. Like the nearest is Cardiff. I've had like offers to perform there, and it's like the nearest place that I think you can really make it, which is a shame because I'd like to make it here as well because it's where I live, and I'd like to spread what I do around here because I think it's needed. So I'm hoping that in the future nearby there will be something that opens up for performers like me to have our career kind of spread out and give people in Gloucestershire what they want, because I know it's popular here. Drag can get very extreme. Drag in general, when you're wearing full body, is very extreme because there's a lot of weight, extra weight and clothing on you that you have to have underneath whatever you're wearing to give that female body. And these are just some of the things that I have to wear. I have my own boobs that I have to wear, and I have these under a bra that I have, and they're very heavy, they're like real boobs, and they're very much there, and it gives me a bit of shape. And then I also have my corset, which cinches my waist in, obviously, and gives me that hourglass illusion look, which I want to have as a female. And then I have my bra to keep my boobs in. I have to keep it all together, because it's hard to keep it all together, especially when you're dancing, performing on stage. There's a lot going on, you need to make sure it's secure. And the same with my hip and butt pads, which gives me just an extra bit of bum, just for that extra hourglass shape I want. And all this gives me what I want to achieve, and it gives me that perfect female shape that I want as Ophelia. If you're interested in drag, then you can do it. If you look up online or on social media where the nearest drag event is, just go to it and see if you like it, and if you enjoy it, get into it. Anyone can do drag. It's an art form that anyone can enjoy, and I suggest everyone tries it out at least once in their life. Maybe you can get into drag. If you're interested in it or it looks like fun to you, just try it out. Even if it's just going to the local show that's near you, which is based at the Frog and Fiddle if you're in Gloucestershire, then just go and try it out, and if you seem like you like it, get into it. Anyone can do drag. Surprise!